You only need 5 pastel pencils to successfully create black fur on a pet portrait. Let me show you which 5 they are, and it's definitely not for this dog. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can draw a dog portrait with black fur using 5 colours of pastel pencils. So essentially, this is the black that I often use. It's a Carbothello. I do not use this black until the very end. So the first layers that I do tend to be either this purpley colour from Carbothello or a 157 Pitt pastel pencil. These give a lovely bluey purple undertone to black fur, and then over the top you can then just put the black at the very end for the details, and that will give you a very rich layered black fur with a lot of depth and realism to it. So I'm just going to take you through a few layers just to give you an idea of how I go about doing a dog with black fur. So I'm starting off here with the 157. It's kind of an indigo color, so I'm just going to go over the darker areas or the shadows in the fur to just give them some depth. And for the light grey areas where the light reflects off the black fur, I like to use a very light Pitt pastel pencil 230. So I will just add that here, and that continues kind of down the side where the light hits it. Right at the very end, along with pure black, I then might also add some white just to add like the very lightest lights, and that will give you a beautiful result for black fur without it looking flat from using only black. So I'm just picking out some of the lighter areas at the moment with very light grey. Then I'll come back with my mid-grey again, kind of adding the transition from the light to the dark, and then I'll either pick the purpley colour or the indigo, either or, and then just deepen where the shadows are. So black fur is basically built up of layers of various shades of purples, dark blues, mid-grey, light grey, and right at the end would be black and maybe white. So from the reference image, you can see that this part here is quite dark and it's close to black. So on my dog portrait, this section here, I've built it up with the purpley and the indigo colour. So because you can't put too many layers on this pastel paper, I've put enough colours below what is now going to be the black layers. So I'll save that right to the very end when I'm pretty happy with the overall shading of a section. So all of this area here, I'm just going to essentially now put that final black layer in. So I'm going to add a bit of definition to the individual fur on the top of the head here. So what I have is my very light grey Pitt pastel pencil. This is the 230, and I've sharpened it with a cosmetic sharpener because that's just easier to get a fairly good sharp point on it. Often we'll start off with the side so I can get a nice sharp edge, and then I will just start drawing in some of these more individual fur strokes. So at this point it's important to have a sharp pencil and to keep a good eye on your reference photo. So this section here is looking a bit of a chunky one because it's not completely detailed yet. So I'm just going to go in with the black and just add a little bit of separation between those fur strands, just so it's a bit easier to see what you're doing. I haven't sharpened the black obviously, so I'll just put an indication in there for the moment. So I'm just going to go back with this nice sharp light grey and then just work out where some of these strands are going. So here you can see I've added some white pencil to highlight some of the fur strands, so it's already starting to look a lot more layered with some depth in that fur on the head. So the way of making some of the fur stand out even more is to get a black pencil and then just add some tiny little fur strokes, or just accentuate some of these white ones. So this is where you can now start adding some of that detail, also with the black and the white pencils. So you can see black fur doesn't really require too many colours, but it is definitely not using just black, because that will give you a very flat finish and it won't look like a natural fur look. So black fur requires layering and building up that fur with some different colours, and that will give it some beautiful depth. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos which I'm creating, and I also have the materials and suggested pencils for black dog fur below. So I will see you in the next video. So thanks for watching, and I hope this has helped you create black fur a little more easily.